Fox News alert as we top off a brand new hour with breaking news. We are now awaiting official word from the White House to what you have been seeing play out live in Israel. As Israelis are right now sheltering in place and sirens are blaring across the country after Iran begins launching missiles into that country. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Sandra Smith in New York.
And I'm John Roberts in Washington. Good to be with you, Sandra. This is America Reports. The situation unfolding before your eyes right now. Also getting word of that shooting in the southern part of Tel Aviv, the area called Jaffa, at a light rail train car. There are multiple casualties. It is being investigated as a terror attack.
All right, so let's get right to Trey Yingst. He's on the breaking news in the middle of everything. Haifa, Israel for us right now. Trey, what is the very latest that you are hearing and seeing there?
Yeah, John, Sandra, there's a massive ballistic missile attack unfolding right now against Israel. The Iranians are launching waves of missiles toward Israel. We have seen interceptions here over the city of Haifa that sits about 17 miles from the border with Lebanon. As we speak, I can see these alerts coming in on my phone all over this country right now. And they're coming in so quickly you can't even scroll through them, all over. At the same time, Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Beersheba. Iran is launching an unprecedented attack against Israel in real time. We have seen in action Israel's most advanced air defense system, the Arrow system, coming off of the skyline of the eastern part of this country. Remember, Israel is a country of just over 9 million people. The vast majority of Israelis right now are in bomb shelters as missiles rain down. It comes as the country is not only at war with Hamas and Islamic Jihad inside Gaza, they are also now fighting a ground war in southern Lebanon against Iran's largest proxy of Hezbollah. I can just feel the alerts going off here in my pocket this country has not seen an attack at this level since April, and at least according to the information that we have now, this appears to be of a much larger caliber, and I'll tell you why. Because back in April, Israel and the United States and coalition partners had a heads up. Iran was making very clear that they were going to respond to an Israeli strike against an IRGC official at their embassy in Damascus, Syria. In the attack that they launched in April, we saw first a wave of drones. Those take about 2 hours to get here from Iranian territory. It gave this country not only time to get jets in the sky to the east over Jordan and shoot down some of those incoming drones and missiles, but also those coalition jets to get in the sky. Ballistic missiles take 12 minutes to get from Iran to Israel. And so over the past 30 minutes, we have just seen these waves of missiles striking different areas of Israel. We don't know exactly how many of them have actually landed and how many have been intercepted because the attack is still ongoing in real time. And I'm just reading the list here. It's hard to describe just how many areas of Israel are under attack. It is fair to say the entire country is taking missile fire at this moment. And when we talk about the interceptions that are taking place, the Arrow system is capable of shooting down incoming ballistic missiles, but they don't have an unlimited supply of interceptors. And so Iran is clearly, by sending waves of missiles, trying to overwhelm Israel's missile defense system, likely in response not only to the killing of Hassan Nasrallah in Beirut last weekend, the leader of Iran's largest proxy, Hezbollah, in the Middle East, but also an open tab for the Iranians, the death of Ismail Haniyeh, the leader of Hamas, who was killed in an explosion in the Iranian capital of Tehran over the summer at the inauguration ceremony for Masoud Pezeshkian, the new Iranian president. And so just to recap here what we know at this moment, John and Sandra, there is a ballistic missile attack unfolding as we speak against Israel. It has been launched from Iranian territory, and I'm just going to grab these notes here from my producer. Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps saying the missile launches are in retaliation, as we just talked about, for the killing of Haniyeh. That is the previous leader of Hamas's political wing. Nasrallah, Hassan Nasrallah, the Secretary General of Hezbollah, who was just killed in an Israeli strike in Beirut over the weekend. And also for another top Iranian official, this is the deputy commander who was alongside Nasrallah when he was killed in the Lebanese capital over the weekend. I'm going to just read through these notes here as we're talking, because there are multiple stories unfolding at the same time. We're also getting an update about that shooting attack that occurred earlier just south of Tel Aviv, just before this missile attack began, in Jaffa, that sits just to the south of Tel Aviv at a newly built light rail station. We saw those initial images and reports, according to first responders, of 2 gunmen on the scene. Now, local medics are saying 4 people were killed in that shooting attack, 7 wounded. 2 shooters neutralized. Again, that is according to first responders, and that is confirmed by local police in Tel Aviv. So again, as we follow these 2 developing stories here out of the region, significant developments on the ground. The Iranians launching a ballistic missile attack against Israel in waves, trying to overwhelm Israel's missile defense system. Currently, the Arrow defense system, their highest tier system, is intercepting some of this incoming fire. It is a system that's been used since the beginning of the conflict that started nearly a year ago with the October 7th massacre. It has now unraveled into a broader regional war. At this point, the real fear for the Israelis and for the Americans is that this will unravel further. And it's part of the reason that you have coalition forces around. I want to just, as we're speaking here, open a message feed that I have with a top Israeli defense official who likely responded to 2 questions that I asked over the past several minutes. And so, according to an Israeli defense official, the Israelis are speaking with their counterparts, and just before this ballistic missile attack began, this top Israeli official said the Israelis were coordinating with CENTCOM. This is an indication that likely the Americans, again, had some level of knowledge that this was going to take place. Both the Israelis and the Americans were observing Iranian activity beforehand. That's why there was a level of alert issued to the Israeli people through Israel's communication Home Front Command that warns people to go to shelters and to stay close to protected areas. This source goes on to say they are bracing for a wide-scale attack that is currently unfolding, including the center of this country. And as we have seen, this attack is not just targeting the center of Israel, but the entirety of the Jewish state. Guys?
So, Trey, just to give you a chance to catch your breath here, I had a graphic made up of that alert system. Let's put it up on the screen right now. This is an app that we get on our phones here, folks who are there in the Middle East and those of us who have been. Literally, the entire country, as far south as the southern tip of the Dead Sea and all the way up almost to the border with Lebanon, is bright red with all of these alerts. I mean, dozens and dozens of alerts as these missiles have been coming in. So far, Trey, the good news seems to be, based on what we're seeing from your video there and the live video that we have up of Tel Aviv, that, we're not seeing anything that looks like missiles that have impacted in any significant way on the ground. There's no fires in the downtown area. So it looks like the missile defense systems have been operating as they should. And don't forget as well that back on April the 13th, when the Iranians last tried this, there was a large coalition that involved Israeli warplanes, as well as the United States, the UK, France, and Jordan, who all worked in a coordinated fashion to take down a lot of these projectiles before they got anywhere near Israeli airspace. As you pointed out, a lot of those were drones in the early wave of the attack. Ballistic missiles are a different thing because some of those travel in the upper atmosphere, if not out of the atmosphere itself, and you can't get an aircraft up high enough to intercept those. So that would have to rely on the Arrow 2 and 3 systems, which are designed to intercept those. But Trey, the initial observation, at least, from looking at our live pictures, and we don't know how much more of this is yet to come. Certainly, this is in response for the killing of Hania in downtown Tehran. Iran sat on this for a long time because that was 2 months ago. But we don't know if there's any more waves of missiles coming, but so far there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of damage there in Israel, which is a good thing. Your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. Israel's air defense is significant, and they have these Arrow defense systems spread throughout the country in a way that if the worst case scenario of an attack would take place.
Showing you the hypocrisy and the lies of this devil. Knowing damn well a lot of them missiles are hitting because Iran have ballistic missiles. If Yemen, the Houthis, is able to penetrate the Israeli defense system with their ballistic missiles, you don't think Iran and Hezbollah have better technology than the Houthis? showing you the hypocrisy and the lies of Fox News and the mainstream media. Now, Fox News is owned by Rupert Murdoch, which is a philanthropist and a multi-billionaire that controls the narrative of the media because he owns Fox News. Hey, you got to understand this right here. Dealing with these goddamn crackers and they madness, you don't think Israel is being hit hard right now? Of course they are. But the mainstream media, which is a Zionist-controlled organization, is not going to tell you the truth. They're going to give you their narrative. So let's go on.
That they would be able to at least try to intercept it. And as we're speaking here, there are sirens now sounding along the Israel-Lebanon border. This is an indication, and I can confirm this is not coming from Iran, that Hezbollah is now firing rockets into northern Israel. So, again, the Israelis are taking fire right now as we speak, not only from Iranian territory, but also from their largest proxy, Hezbollah, in southern Lebanon. And I do want to just read you an update here on my other phone. According to the Israeli Airport Authority, Israeli airspace...
So you telling me the Israeli airspace, the Iron Dome, and the other bullshit they talking about is intercepting Hezbollah missiles, it's intercepting Iranian missiles, so they that potent in their warfare. If you believe that shit, if you believe that the Iranian missiles is not hitting their targets, and the Hezbollah, which is a proxy army of the Revolutionary Guard, is not hitting their targets, you believe in the tooth fairy. Let's continue. You see, Job chapter 18, verse 11? Terror should make them afraid on every side, man. These devils are afraid, man. Their kingdom is circling the drain. Not only is America's kingdom circling the drain, but the Israelis government, they're in uproar right now as we speak. So terrorists are making them afraid on every side, but when you got controlled media by one of these globalists like Rupert Murdoch, then you're going to get what you get. Fluff and puff. Bullshit. Let's continue.
Is now closed. Takeoff and landings at Ben Gurion International Airport just outside of Tel Aviv have been stopped. This is an indication that the Israelis want to ensure that, first of all, civilian aircraft is safe in this area, but also that the airspace could be compromised in the hours ahead. And as we look forward here to what the threats on the ground are, the Iranians, when they launched this attack, didn't just launch it all at the same time. As you saw live here on Fox, they were firing these missiles in waves. And there's two things to consider here. The first thing has to do with the on-the-ground military activity of Iran's largest proxy that sits about 17 miles to the north of here, Hezbollah. Hezbollah has an arsenal of missiles and rockets that they have used to rain down on Israeli cities over the past year. And they are still firing on cities like Tel Aviv. Earlier today, Hezbollah fired on Tel Aviv. And also the thing that you have to consider tonight, the real question at hand here as we cover this developing story, is how the Israelis will respond to this massive missile attack from Iranian territory. We've heard from Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant over the past week. And they have said things like, if Iran decides to respond to the killing of Hassan Nasrallah, that they will pay a very heavy price. And I think we should look back to April, to what the Israelis targeted when they responded to the April attack against Israel. When the ballistic and cruise missiles were launched from Iranian territory then in April, the Israelis responded by striking the air defense systems outside of one of Iran's largest nuclear facilities. And I spoke with Israeli officials after that in Tel Aviv, asking them why, beyond the obvious reasons. And they said they wanted to send a message. They wanted to send a message to the Iranian regime that Israeli jets and missiles have the capability to hit Iranian targets, including their nuclear facilities. And this is the big X factor here.
So you don't think Iran have missiles that's capable to hit Israeli nuclear facilities as well? This is all bullshit. But you see what's going on with Fox News. Fox News, like I said, is controlled by Rupert Murdoch, and you're going to get what you're going to get, which is fluff, puff, lies, and deception. But the real truth, you go to alternative news media sites, and you get the real skinny. You get the real truth on what's going on and what's happening over there in Israel. Them gutter rats are afraid. They in bunkers. They hiding. It's not a fact that that's defiant in everything that is being shot at them. They just intercepting and bullying and bulldozing their way to victory. That's a lie, man. It's all lies. It's all lies and deception, man. It's all lies and deception. 2 Ezra chapter 8, verse 50. Many great miseries should be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world because they have walked in great pride. And that includes them gutter rats over there in Israel that call themselves Israelis. They suffering too. You got a lot of people that has been captured and held as prisoners by these cats that call themselves the what they call themselves again, the not Hezbollah, not the Houthis, but Hamas. Then you got the Houthis doing what they doing in the Red Sea. Once again, Job chapter 18, verse 11, terror shall make them afraid on every side. But then you ain't gonna get the real skinny in the mainstream media. You gotta go to alternative media news sites to get the skinny, because they're going to tell you what they want you to hear. Let's get back to the article or to the news site, which is Fluff and Puff from Fox News.
All of this. And as we talk about the developments on the ground here with this unfolding ballistic missile attack, what appears to be in the low hundreds of ballistic missiles fired toward Israel from Iranian territory in response, according to Iran's IRGC, to the killing of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah and Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh. We should talk about Iran's nuclear program, because Israeli officials, some of them are of the belief that this is an opportunity for Israel. They have watched Iran not only develop their missile program that is now being used to target Israel, as Israeli officials warned over the past several years, but the real concern is their nuclear program, because according to top nuclear watchdogs, the Iranians are starting to enrich uranium very close to weapons-grade material. This means their breakout period for a nuclear bomb has been reduced to weeks. And if they have the ability to create a nuclear weapon and attach it to a ballistic missile that they've just shown tonight can reach Israel, it is a catastrophic situation for this country.
One more thing. These fucking crackers is always constantly talking about Iran is one step closer to obtaining a nuclear weapon. If they are allies to China and Russia and Iran has been doing war games for over 5 years, you don't think Iran being a part of the BRICS nations, pursuant to January the 1st, 2024, that they have a military alliance as well as a financial alliance, economic alliance, you don't think they have nuclear weapons? Of course they do. The same way Israel was not The Israeli government is not admitting that they have nuclear weapons. Same way North Korea is not admitting they got nuclear weapons. But Vladimir Putin vowed to arm America's enemies because America is arming Russia's enemies. So the stage is set, man. We in the beginning stages of World War III. We in World War III, but not nuclear war. War III. We in the beginning stages of World War III. Make no mistakes about that, but it hasn't escalated to thermonuclear war yet. Let's continue on with the fluff and puff of Fox News.
And so the coming hours and days will be significant to watch what the Israeli response will be. And as we continue to follow the developments on the ground here, we are also watching that developing story. And we'll see if you can get the map back up of Jaffa, just south of Tel Aviv, where officials have updated that 8 people were killed in that shooting attack that just began before the missile attack from Iran started. Guys,
I mean, dude, there's so much happening all at once there. Hey, Trey, just we're going to let you stand by for a second here, but I just wanted to take a look at this statement from Iranian state media that you read there. It said IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, in response to the martyrdom of Ismail Haniyeh, Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, and martyr Nilfoshan, so it's for 3, we targeted the heart of the occupied territories. If the Zionist regime reacts to Iran's operations, it will face crushing attacks. The fact that they use the word targeted in the past tense, Trey, might be an indication that this is over. And they're also saying that it's not just for Haniyeh, but it's for Nasrallah and Nilfoshan as well. And basically saying to Israel, don't respond to this because we'll hit back at you again if you do. So I don't know your thoughts about whether this is over or not. And then there's also the question of, does Israel just let this go, or does Israel respond as well? Noting that after the takeout of Nasrallah, Iran moved the Ayatollah Khamenei to a safe, undisclosed location. Trey?
Israeli officials are not likely to let this go. They don't want the dynamic to change, despite the fact that we are clearly stepping up on a regional escalation ladder. And if we could just zoom out here for a second, when we look at the 30,000-foot view of the situation on the ground, Israel over the past year has been directly battling Iranian proxies, not just on the ground in Gaza with Hamas and Islamic Jihad. That's one front, but also with Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, which overnight we saw as the Israelis went into southern Lebanon on the ground. We were actually embedded overnight with an Israeli commando unit as they went to a Hezbollah position near to the Israel-Lebanon border. But then you have the Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen. That's a third front that just this week was active as they fired a ballistic missile at Tel Aviv. Then you have Iran itself tonight firing ballistic missiles toward Israel. And then you have the West Bank. The Iranians have been pushing weapons and support toward Hamas and Islamic Jihad cells there. And then you have Iran-backed Iraqi and Syrian Shia militias. And so this is a 7-front conflict. And the Israelis feel that they have to, according to officials, escalate to
So what about the Israeli-backed regime of the American government and the West that's promoting genocide? You see the hypocrisy of these goddamn devils, man? They promoting genocide, allowing the Israeli government led by Benjamin Netanyahu or Bibi Netanyahu to do what he do. No one have no complaint about that. But when these Houthis, the Yemenis government retaliate, when Hezbollah retaliate, and they commit all kind of assassinations. But when they retaliate, it's an act of terror. No, they're defending themselves, man. They defended themselves. And it's only going to escalate, like I stated earlier in this lesson. We're in the beginning stages of World War III. We're in World War III, but it's not thermonuclear World War III yet. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. We in the beginning stages of World War III, man. You people think it's a game. Especially Jake. The 2/3 of you stupid ass Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans that think everything is a joke, man. That everything is about games, laughter and games, making jokes. And this whole Diddy situation is a goddamn side distraction. Because look what's going on with the ports. October 1st, 2024, at 12 o'clock at night, they woke off the job. Shit is serious, man. Look what's going on over there in Texas. Look what's going on in North Carolina. Look what's going on in Florida with Hurricane Helene. No more aid going to the hurricane victims, but they're going to sent 500 trillion to Taiwan. Dig that. Dig that, man. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit, man. It's all bullshit. Let's continue with this fluff and puff from Fox News.
Escalate. That is the current policy of the Israeli defense echelon in Tel Aviv. And we don't anticipate that will change.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing in Lebanon as well, this idea of escalating to de-escalate. Hey, we got to get some information in from stateside here, Trey. Stand by with this. Sandra, back to you.
We're waiting on an update, reminding our viewers response from the White House. There is a briefing that was originally scheduled for 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. That would be about 14 minutes from now. We'll see if that's still happening, and if so, what the response is from the Biden White House. Also, a State Department briefing is expected top of the hour, 2 o'clock Eastern time. We're also starting to get some brand new reaction in from Congress. Senator Lindsey Graham is calling for an attack. He says this is a breaking point. He's now urging the Biden administration to target Iranian oil refineries. He says these oil refineries need to be hit and hit hard because that is the source of cash for the regime to perpetrate their terror.
Then when they hit these oil refineries, what's going to happen with oil? Because Iran constantly is threatening to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, where all the revenue, all the oil come through. If they hit these oil refineries, we talking about $8, $10 a gallon in gas. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse in America, man. Nothing is going back to 2019, 2018. It's only going to get worse. Like I stated earlier, we're in the beginning stages of World War III, and it's only going to escalate to thermonuclear war, man. That's going to be the war to end all wars. Thermonuclear war. But you people can't see that, man. Because it's all about fun and games to your people, man. Meanwhile, the Lord is allowing all this to happen. Look what's going on with these hurricanes, man. The Lord says he's going to bring plagues upon the world. Floods, destruction. Isaiah 29 verse 6. Look what happened over there in North Carolina, Florida, Texas. And there's still more hurricanes about to be unleashed. The Lord is bringing plagues upon the world. War, death, destruction. But you people are not measuring the times pursuant to 2 Ezra chapter 9 verse 1. You're not measuring the times. It's all about fun and games with you people, man. So when the Lord allowed Esau to open up and show his true horns, he's going to bring that violence. And that's what you Jakes, you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans respect, violence. And that's what he's going to bring. Pursuant to Ezekiel chapter 21, verse 9, he's going to bring that violence. And the Lord's going to allow you to get fucked up. And it's going to be the Lord fucking you niggas up, man. Handing you niggas your ass, man. Is all a game? It's not a game, man. But to you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, everything is a game. Everything is all about fun and games. Laughter, making jokes. Side distractions. Like a goddamn circus show. Let's get back to the article, or the news article.
You are watching, obviously, the night sky there in Israel. Okay, this is what we saw happen late in the last hour. When the missile attacks began, you're going to watch the night sky light up. Let's watch together.
You see how they're not showing you how the skies is lighting up? They got this goddamn clown, Donald Trump. They're not showing you the missiles that's being launched by Hezbollah, that's being launched by Iran, that's being launched by Yemen, by the Houthis. They're not showing you. They said, let us see, but they're showing you Donald Trump with his hand up. Man, Fox News is a bunch of bullshit, man. The mainstream media is a bunch of bullshit, sellout prostitutes that's feeding the public fluff and puff because the whole system is revolved around putting you under a goddamn spell. You watch Fox News if you want to. Watch Fox News if you want to and see where it gets you. Where's the footage? They're showing Donald Trump. Where's the fucking footage? Let us see the footage. They're not showing you footage. They're showing Donald Trump. Do you see the hypocrisy and the madness from Fox News and the mainstream media? They're not showing you nothing. They got Donald Trump picture up there. Where's the footage? But I guarantee you, you go to alternative news media sites, you're going to see the footage. But you're not going to see it on
The Israeli army
Fox
confirms
News.
nearly 200 missiles were launched into Israel from Iran. Iran's Revolutionary Guard is saying the missile launches are in retaliation.
But they showing Donald Trump with his hand up. But they blocked the missile strikes that was getting shot off by Hezbollah and Iran. And the Houthis, which is the Yemenese government. This is bullshit, man. Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 14 and 15, that great day of the Lord is approaching, man. Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 14 and 15 on down, that great day of the Lord is approaching. That great day of the Lord is thermonuclear destruction. We're in the beginning stages of World War III. It's only going to heat up when intercontinental ballistic missiles, when nuclear warheads attached to them, is going to be shot off. Pursuant to Isaiah chapter 24, verse 19 on down, where the earth is going to reel to and fro like a drunkard. Like it says in Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 14 and 15 on down, man, that great day of the Lord is near and hasteth greatly, man. Meanwhile, you got a potential famine on hand with these dock workers striking. This is not a game, man. This is not a game. This is deadly serious. And the Lord is bringing these plagues, man. What you seen going on with Hurricane Helene, that's a plague from the Lord, man. What you see what's going on. These different wars breaking out That's a plague from the Lord, man. This is deadly serious. You know what else is serious too? That's a part of the curses? Cannibalism. And that's what's coming. When this famine hit hard, a lot of you women is going to result to cannibalism. A lot of you niggas out there is going to result to cannibalism. That's a part of the curses. Keep thinking shit is a game. Cannibalism is a part of the curses. Famine is a part of the curses. Death and destruction is a part of the curses. Why do you think the Lord appointed 4 kinds of deaths for you niggas, man? Pursuant to Jeremiah 15 verse 1 to 3. Keep thinking it's a game. This fluff and puff from Fox News and all the mainstream media outlets, you're not going to learn shit, man. This is a prime example of bullshit. Let us see the barrage of missiles coming down, but all you see is Donald Trump holding his hand up. But when you go to the main, but when you go to alternative news media outlets, you will see the bombardment and to get the true skinny of what's happening over there, man. Them gutter rats are scared to death, man. They hide in bunkers. The Iron Dome is not intercepting everything, man. They're being overwhelmed with missiles. But you're going to get lies, deceit, from a media controlled by a goddamn globalist like Rupert Murdoch, who owns lock, stock, and barrel Fox News and The Post. Dig that shit. Let's get back to this fluff and puff before I close it out.
For the recent killings of leadership of Hezbollah, let's bring in Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin on what she is hearing right now from the Pentagon. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Sandra. Well, President Biden called a meeting of his national security advisors and the Vice President Harris today at the White House. That was earlier today. And we've just learned that Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin spoke with his counterpart in Israel, Yoav Gallant, earlier today. It was the second time they had spoken in the past 24 hours. Obviously, U.S. military assets are on high alert. We've just learned that the airspace over Israel, Jordan, and Iraq has been closed. That suggests that there could be more activity in the air there. Of course, you have the U.S. warships in the Eastern Mediterranean, the USS Cole, the USS Arleigh Burke, and the USS Bulkley, among others, that are based there. They have on board those missile interceptors that were so crucial back in the April timeframe. And then you have a host of U.S. warships down in the Red Sea, as well as the USS Abraham Lincoln that is closer to Iran in the Arabian Sea. So that is a lot of firepower that the U.S. military has in the region, in addition to 40,000 U.S. troops, as well as squadrons of F-22s, F-15s, among other aircraft that will be utilized in the event that there are more waves of attacks on Israel. The question now, as Trey has pointed out, is how will Israel respond? There's been a warning from the IRGC, from the leaders of Iran, saying do not respond. It is unlikely that Israel will heed that warning. We've heard that Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader, plans to lead Friday prayers in Tehran on Friday of this week. That is a very unusual move by the supreme leader. He does not do that frequently. In fact, the last time I can remember him doing that was after the killing of the IRGC General Qasem Soleimani. So tensions absolutely high. And as Trey mentioned, there are multiple fronts. The Pentagon is watching this very closely and sharing intel in real time with its Israeli counterparts. U.S. Central Command is coordinating all of with Israel, as well as Jordan and Iraq and others who are involved in frankly protecting Israel tonight.
It's John here. So the last time this happened, There was a large coalition that was involved in intercepting the drones and cruise missiles and other projectiles that were shot at Israel. At this point, we don't know if this involved cruise missiles and or drones or just ballistic missiles. Do you know what extent the U.S. military might have been involved in trying to take down some of these projectiles?
It's not clear at this point, John, but from what it seems in terms of the length of time, as we've been reporting, it takes about 12.
Let me just say this before I close it out. If the United States get their girly asses into this war, because we got to understand this. The United States military was a joke. They got transgenders in there. So they got homosexuals in there. If they get their girly asses into this war, mixing up with Israel against Iran, Hezbollah, it's going to become a regional war. And guess what's going to happen? Russia's going to get involved. And that's prophecy pursuing, because Russia is a guard unto all these different Arab nations over there, because they allies with them, pursuant to Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. So America is going to get their girly asses handed to them in this goddamn war. If they get into this war, which I know they are, because they're going to back them gutter rats to the T, that's going to commence to start Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. Brakatah, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah for that. It's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. This war is going to escalate to the point of thermonuclear World War III. We in the beginning stages of World War III. We in World War III. But here's where it lies. Where it escalates to thermonuclear war. Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. Joel, the 2nd and the 3rd chapter. It's only going to escalate, man. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get crazy. A little more before I close it out.
Minutes for ballistic missiles to come from Tehran. We had expected this attack to start in the 12 o'clock hour. The first impacts, I think, were around 12:37. Sometime between in that hour, the missiles were fired. If they had been cruise missiles, it would have taken several hours, and drones take several hours. So my guess is this first round involved mostly ballistic missiles. That's what we're hearing from the IDF. Whether the U.S. Warships were involved, we will have to hear from the Pentagon. We expect a briefing here around 2:30 p.m. But certainly the coalition is really a question mark tonight, because we had Saudi Arabia involved, Jordan involved the last time in April that this happened, when Iran fired more than 300 missiles into Israel. But it's not clear. There's a lot of frustration in the region that Israel has gone into southern Lebanon with a ground force, as well as carrying out those assassinations inside Lebanon. So it's not clear at this point, but it is notable that Jordan closed its airspace. That shows a degree of cooperation right now in terms of trying to protect Israel.
Hey, Jan, just real quick, just reflecting on something you said there about the idea that we knew that this was going to happen.
The Jordanese government is a puppet of the Israeli government as well as the American government. That dude is a puppet, man. He's placed there. He's going to do what they tell him to do, man. Bottom line. He's going to back Benjamin Netanyahu to the T. But eventually, the Jordanese people, they're going to get tired of this dude, and they're going to start rebelling. And it's going to be a goddamn riot in the streets. Upwards to the people. And this is all prophecy. A little more.
Probably in the 12 noon hour. Back when Iran responded for the takedown of Soleimani, the United States, President Trump has talked about this, so has Keith Kellogg, that they got a heads up that Iran was going to do something. Do you think the heads up to this came from Iran?
No, that would not have been the case this time, nor in April. We've talked to senior leaders who were involved in and well aware of the intelligence back in April, and there was not a warning. What the U.S. has that is part of its exquisite intelligence network and system of being able to see what. That's why we have an.
Man, this is all bullshit, man. I'm done. The United States and the Israeli government love performing assassinations on political opposition from different people. And they've been doing it and getting away with it. Assassinations here, assassinations there. Why did this war, this regional war over in the Middle East is taking place? Over assassinations, man. Over assassinations. America, as well as Israel, is going to be a goddamn sacrifice. The sacrifice is the most, but Slakia, America and Israel is a great big altar. And all the people, and all the elements, the animals, everything, the fishes, everything, is a great big sacrifice. America and Israel is a great big altar. And the Lord's going to perform a great sacrifice pursuant to Isaiah, the 34th chapter, on Israel and America. America and Israel are going to be totally decimated, but America is going to be totally destroyed, but Israel is going to be built back up by the international bankers, the first fruits of slavery, pursuant to Ezekiel, the 39th chapter, the 14th verse. Pursuant to Isaiah, the 29th chapter, Isaiah, the 24th chapter, the 19th verse on down, where the Lord's going to punish the host of the high ones, which are the international bankers. They're going to be the first fruits of slaves. So all this bullshit that Fox News is pushing out there is all fluff and puff, man. You can't believe anything you hear from these devils. As if none of the rockets, none of the ballistic missiles are hitting their targets. You got to be a madman. You got to be a stupid motherfucker, excuse my language, to believe the mainstream media. I'm done. Shalom.